Good morning, Kirsten. Coffee. So let's sit quietly for a couple of minutes. Good morning, Miss Sen. Thank you for coming. So let's sit a little while before we study the Tiantai school. And Sleepfish, thanks for coming too. So before I started the Tiantai school, so I invite you to be aware of awareness, the shortcut of awakening. I'm aware that I am aware. I am aware that I'm aware, or just for short is self-awareness. In Chinese we say 自证分. So the awareness has ability to be aware of itself. Svasamvedana, Sanskrit. The simplest way of awakening. So we are aware of a lot of things, like you can be aware of my voice, my image. Also, you are aware of your room. You can look around, so many items around you. You can also be aware of your body sensation, feel your body. including your breath. Inhale, pause, exhale, pause, inhale, also you can be aware of the taste from your mouth. Maybe I just have a little bit coffee, so I still feel the coffee taste. Sometimes it's so subtle that we ignore it, right? But if you are alert enough, calm enough, you will notice lots of things going on outside, like raindrops, wind, people's talking. Also, if you like smell, some coffee scent. Also, the most important thing is you can be aware of the inner mental activities. Our thoughts, our memories, or any mental activities come to visit us, sometimes randomly, sometimes repeatedly, randomly like a comic. If I use a astronomy term, sometimes it's very far away. Then in 70 years, visit, couple of years, visit us once. But most of time, our thoughts are repeatedly, coming to visit us. To be aware of the mental activity, you have to be calmer. Then you can be aware of the five senses in terms of what you see, hear, touch, smell, and hear, right? What I'm going to say is to be aware of the mental activity, you need more, how to say, alertness. The substrate stream of thinking, if you really can be aware of every single thought that consciously, then we really can manage and master the thoughts. Understanding the contents of our life, understanding our interpretation of the life. But we have talked about these six senses, what we can see, hear, touch, smell, and think. The most important is, except the six senses, the awareness can be aware of. The awareness can also be aware of itself. Svasamvedana. To put it simple, the awareness cannot only be aware of the contents, but also of itself. So I hope you really can distinguish the contents of awareness from the awareness itself. That's critical step in the path of awakening. It's a milestone. And interestingly, while you can be aware of the awareness, like now, you're aware of all the contents at the same time. Do you follow? It's not true that when you are aware of the awareness, you lose the contact with the contents. No. You can be aware both of the contents and the awareness at the same time. And Miss Sen has a question. When I'm self-aware, I feel like it's happening as a thought of myself. So I'm thinking of being myself. No, you don't need to think to be. Do you need think to be? No. Descartes has the French philosopher Descartes has a so-called famous quote. I think, therefore I am. He's wrong. I am, therefore I think. We don't need to think to be. We are being to think. Like now, if I stop talking and you stop listening just for seconds, there's a gap of no thinking, right? It's true, but when I try to be aware of being aware, it generates a thought. Thinking will happen naturally. Don't pay too much attention to the thinking. Pay attention to the being. Do you remember I once, maybe last year I said, fear not the arise of the thinking, fear only the lack of awareness. Fear not the rising of thought, fear only the awareness of that thought. If you know there's a thought there in my mind or in your mind, then there's a space between the awareness and the thought. Make sense? We are not the thought because now you're aware of it now. So it must be a space and time there to observe the thinking or the thought. Does it make sense to you? Sometimes we are totally in the thinking, we don't be aware of that thought, then I would say that the awareness, like a wave, collapse to a ripple or atom, then the wave is the atom or is the wave or the ocean is the wave. But as a human being, we can have that separation, generate the space and time to observe. That's our ability, natural ability. Again, once you see a thought arising, then there's a space. Meditation is try to build up this space in terms of observation. And thoughts has no influence on the being. It's just like a reflection in a mirror cannot damage a mirror. A bombing in the program cannot damage the screen of a smart TV. You see a lot of how to say anatomy or analogy here. Sorry, analogy here. You don't need to think to be. We are being that capable of thinking. Okay, if no more further question, well, I will paste the Tentai School's Wikipedia here because I find the Tentai School is the peak of the Mahayana teaching. Actually, I talked about the Tentai School before, but it's good to review it again. You can. I'm not sure. Can you read it while you listen to me, or no? Can you have two frames of the page? One is this YouTube, one is your Google link or Tentai School page. I'm not sure. Oh, okay. So you would bumped out of the YouTube the way I'm looking. So I will read some of the contents of the Tiantai school, just to give you background of the Buddhism in China. So Buddhism exported to China around the first century. Tiantai school was developed around the 6th century, so there's like 500 years of development in China with local culture, Taoism, Confucianism, and it's like cultivating and grow Chinese Mahayana, but with a Chinese taste, and is the epic or the peak of the Buddha's teaching in China with a Chinese taste, sorry, and it influenced Zen, influenced Pure Land, influenced all the lineage of the Mahayana school a lot, by the Tiantai school. Tiantai is a mountain. If you look at the picture, Tiantai is a city. Is a mountain. Sorry, um, not far away from Shanghai, which is Zhejiang province, like 2 hours drive from Shanghai, east of China, right? So I actually have been there, but I was so young, I don't notice that there's such a famous Buddha's teaching there. I don't pay a visit to the temple. And anyway, let's see go back. The history is always very interesting, but I want to like use the limited time to go to the central contents here. Let's see if I grasp any essence here. So if we go to like 湛然, I think it's the student of Zhiyi, just different master's name. 湛然 said, every blade of grass, tree, pebble, and particles of dust is perfectly endowed with Buddha nature. The practitioner of the perfect teaching from beginning to end knows that ultimate principle is non-dual. You see, non-dual. And there are no objects apart from mind. There's no objects apart from mind. Who then is sentient? What then is insentient? Within the assembly of the lotus, there's no discrimination. This is the ultimate realization of the truth. Everything is one or non-dual. There's no objects apart from mind. You see, the consciousness only school. Everything you can see, hear, touch, listen, you can see, hear, smell, and taste, touch, and think are all the projections of the mind. It's a really magic happening every moment. In the pure universal unified field, we project a world. I mean, relation, nature, all kinds of objects, emotions, feelings from our mind. We're projecting a world. If everything is projected from our own mind, then there's nothing or no objects apart from the mind. Make sense? Or in other way, in your experience, is that right now at this moment, everything you're aware of is in your awareness. Make sense? My image, my voice, your body sensation, your thoughts, feelings are right now in your awareness. Consciousness only. So who then is sentient and what then is insentient? As a sentient being, we are projecting a world, an insentient rock or cup or computer. Within the assembly of the lotus, there's no discrimination. The ultimate realization is that you know you're projecting a world from the inner mind. Let's say that outer world and inner mind is one thing, is non-dual. And when you identify yourself as this pure awareness only, or pure consciousness only, and then it's a singly different item or objects or feelings or emotions are identical from this simple, pure awareness, no discrimination. It's seemingly very paradoxical. Actually, it's the truth. But we may understand this intellectually, but we should realize this in our meditation, in our everyday life. We can still see the difference of a computer or cell phone and a cup. I definitely know, you definitely know the difference between these two objects. But in the Buddha's eye, these two objects have no discrimination, because Buddha know it's coming from his or her pure awareness. Or in the Thich Nhat Hanh's teaching, everything we can see, hear, touch, taste, smell, and think are all one organic whole, interbeing, right? I've talked about this concept a lot. It's like if we study our body, we have cells of liver, cells of heart, cells of lungs, cells of muscles. But if you look totally, it's just a differentiate group of differentiated cells working for one human being. We still have that power of differentiation, but deep down in our heart, we know everything is one. That's why Tentai school is so advanced Mahayana teaching, because he's teaching the ultimate. He's not teaching you how to play piano, how to ride a car or bike, how to do the essay or writing. No, that's all the relative teaching. What the Buddha's teaching, or in this Tentai school, is behind all these relatives, there's the ultimate reality there. Maybe I put this passage, just in a text, we can have more. Pity that they have the limit of text in the chat. So I can only paste one by one. So I read again. Every blade of grass, tree, pebble, and particle of dust, like atoms, molecules, proteins, is perfectly endowed with Buddha nature. Buddha nature is a term in the Buddhism teaching, Buddha's teaching. But now we can use like a vacuum field, the field of vacuum, universal unified field. In Taoism, we use the Tao. You see, people use different terms to pointing the ultimate truth. Anyone you're interested, you just you can take that word, but don't say not how to say. Actually, there's different terminologies pointing to one destination. The practitioner of the perfect teaching from the beginning to end. You see, from beginning, I want to teach you or share with you the Buddha's ultimate teaching, even though it's hard to grasp at the beginning, but sometimes we can repeat this ultimate teaching again and again and try to figure out later, one by one, step by step, day by day. Then you won't lose yourself because now you have this ultimate picture. The practitioner of perfect teaching from beginning to end knows the ultimate principle is non-dual. So non-dual is the ultimate realization. So what does that non-duality mean? If I say everything is one, it's very hard to grasp, right? But I can simplify this to two categories, like I, the sense of I, and everything that is not I, subject and object. Make sense? Then non-dual is the subject and the object is one, is non-dual. That's the ultimate truth. Even though it's very hard to understand and harder to realize, but I will tell you from my experience, this is the ultimate teaching. No matter how good you are at your work, how successful at your business, how money you make, how successful you are in the world, if you not have this understanding, comparing to this ultimate teaching, no relative teaching or success or health or wealth can beat this realization. And there's no confliction between your success, health, and wealth at this moment and this teaching. It helps you to be more wealthy, healthy, and successful. You see, Buddha's teaching is very inclusive. That's why it can grow in China. It can grow in all parts of the world because it's all inclusive. It's never exclusive anything. That's the beauty of Buddhism. Think about other religions. Some religions are very exclusive. If I am right, you are wrong. You see, dual world is creating a dual world. Buddha's teaching is non-dual. It embraces all different ideas. Non-duality is the ultimate realization. That's why sometimes I listen to Rupert Spira, a non-duality teacher, also a Swami. I forgot his name. A Swami. A lot of Swamis actually talk about this non-duality. So beautiful. Even though they have different lineage, some more from yoga, some from more Aveda, right? Avedas, but all the lineage are pointing to the ultimate truth. Why? Because ultimate truth is ultimate. No matter which lineage you come from, the destination is same, is identical. For me, or for maybe for you, you're more interested in Buddha's teaching, but because Buddha's teaching has so many schools, right? So many temples in the world. That's why we have this access to Buddha's teaching from different parts of the world or cities and different lineages. And as a Chinese, I'm so how to say grateful that I have access to the Zen, to the Pure Land, to the Tiantai school, not only in English but also in Chinese. Sometimes the translation has a little bit, missed the authentic teaching, but it's not a big deal though. Sometimes I listen to the YouTube channel in Chinese. In Taiwan, there's a lot of masters teaching in Chinese. That's one part of my advantage. I can grab all the masters in talking about Chinese, and I also live in Canada. I love English. I try to improve my English, so it's a blend of. I think myself living in Canada for almost 20 years now. It's a blend of science. Uh, Sometimes I love philosophy too, psychology too. As a Chinese practitioner, I love the kind of physiology, So it's a blend of everything for me. But anyway, every road leads to Rome. Then while in the Rome, who is coming from different, roads or different road. All the roads leads to Rome. The Rome is non-duality or non-dual or oneness. That's the ultimate realization or the purpose of life. Our individual life is one organic one, total one, whole, dynamic one with every other individual lives. Again, Rumi's quote, "You are not a drop in the ocean, your entire ocean in one drop." Only when you see your entire ocean in one drop, you see the different drops, yet underneath all the different drops, the currents, ripples, you see entire ocean too. compassion will arise naturally at that moment. When you can see differences, yet you identify them one with you too. It's so beautiful. You have that total balance between the relative world and ultimate world. As each cell is the body, yes. Nature itself does not divide, oh, this is cell, liver cell, this is heart cell, this is a muscular cell. No. Nature, the cells, the tissues, the heart, liver, the body, the nature, the country, the different religion is a human construction. Nature itself does not say there's a black people and there's a white people, there's a liver cell and there's a heart cell. Nature itself does not say so. Only human try to, as a human being, we have the intelligence to understand. Then we have to use the word cell, tissue, organ, nature, country, earth, planet, cosmos. This is all human construction. But it helps. It helps only in a relative way, though. Once you realize behind all these relatives, there's one thing greater, embraces all these relatives, then you're okay. You can still use cell, country, people, nature. You can use the relative word to describe, to explain yourself, to express yourself. Yet you know every cell is whole. Every word is whole. Every people is whole. Every grass is whole. Every blade of grass is whole. Every dog, everything you see is a whole. Actually, this is teaching from Tentai school. Tentai school mentioned this part. Let me try to find this part. 一念三千. I just maybe can, because we're talking about this one all in one and one in all, right? All in one and one in all is non-dual. Let me see this. I hope you can read the Wikipedia later. The unity of Dhammatatu. Yes, the 3,000 realms in one thought moment. So if you go to the middle, I think it's there's 3,000 realms in one thought moment. 一念三千. Okay. Our thought contains 3,000 realms. Realms of human, realms of God, realms of animal, realms of hungry ghosts, realms of devils. Just to give you kind of different names here. According to the teaching, the various realms of existence of Buddha cosmology are all interconnected and interpenetrating. That's good name. That's good word. Interconnected and interpenetrating. Furthermore, each of these states of existence can be experienced in one's own mind. Right now, at this moment, every thought you fire contains 3,000 realms. It's so hard to understand yet, and can be therefore be seen as a kind of experience and a way of seeing the world, as well as a realm of rebirth. I will just finish this little bit. One thought or mind contains the 10 Dharma realms. Each Dharma realm also contains the 10 Dharma realms. So that's 100 Dharma realms. Each Dharma realm contains 30 worlds. So 100 Dharma realms contain 3,000 worlds. These 3,000 worlds are contained in one thought. What the heck? What the heck is this about? 一念三千. That's all in one and one in all in more details now. Okay, so beautiful. Anyway, I found so interesting. Nassim Haramein said, in the nucleus of every atom or every proton of the atom is connected to every other atoms or protons in the universe. He said, very interesting, right? How many protons in the universe? Have you ever thought about this question? How many protons in the universe, in the observable universe? The answer is around, I'm saying roughly 10 to the power of 80. So there's a 1 and 10 to the power of 80 zeros of the 1, okay? That's the 10 to the power of 80 protons in the observable universe. Every star you can see, planet, everybody, everything, cosmology, galaxy you can see, if you include them all into numbers of proton, it's only 10 to the power of 80. Very kind of small, but 80 zeros is a lot. Okay, I'm using the Nassim Haramein theory, the vacuum field or the connected universe, to add into this 一念三千 or one thought contains 3,000 realms or worlds. It makes sense now. So if every proton is connected to every other proton, or every atom is connected to every other atoms in the whole universe, then the whole universe is a one thing, is like this small body is connected. But it's simply that your body and my body are different bodies, and a dog's body is different from a cat's body. Nassim Haramein say, no, underneath all the differences or separations, there's one unity. It's beyond our five senses. But in the physics or in the math, in the pure math, Nassim Haramein has some explanations. I can show you there. Maybe I can just give you that YouTube channel you can watch later. Nassim Haramein had this connected universe, connected universe by Nassim Haramein. I will paste it here. Yeah, it's so beautiful. I just so paste the YouTube channel here. YouTube, it's a TED Talk. TED Talks, okay. So you can watch it later. It's only 20 minutes of talk. Basically, his whole idea is explained in this one. So you see Tiantai School, and now the Nassim Haramein, the pioneer of the unified field, or a pioneer in the physics, they have something in common. They are talking about the ultimate truth in totally different terms and languages. Why? Because it's ultimate. It's like the ultimate realm connects every relative road. They reach the ultimate in a different way. And Buddha's teaching is the ultimate teaching too. So this teaching of non-dual represents a totalistic view of interdependent reality, interbeing, as Thich Nhat Hanh said. Interdependent reality. The Buddha and ordinary worldling body and mind, cause and effect, causality is is part of this interdependent of reality. Subject and object, sentient and non-sentient, are mutually encompassed in very moment of thought. See how profound teaching, how profound it is. When I saw this page, when I saw the Tentai schools teaching, wow. Thank you, the masters. Thank you, the Buddhas. Thank you, all the sages, even scientists now trying to discover. If every philosophy or philosopher wants to discover the truth, we just use different ways, different language, different terms. And deep in our heart and in our mind, we try to seek the ultimate freedom. As a human being, as a modern civilization, we are not only looking for the survival now, food and shelter. We have, for most of us now, we have solved this problem, survival. And after survival, we want more convenient and comfort. That's why technology, that's why machinery, any human civilization trying to, bring us comfort and convenience or abundance, right? Makes sense to you? But now we say at this time, at this stage of civilization, we have a lot of comfort and confidence, right? As a car, as a plane, as this internet, we are like step 2 now. Step 1, survival. Step 2, comfort and convenience, abundance. Now, step 3 actually is awakening. I will say, actually, right in the survival mode, we're still looking for the ultimate freedom of freedom. In the step 2, in the mode of the comfort and convenience, we are looking for the freedom. Actually, the freedom is always in these different stages of civilization. All the sages, all the masters try to look for or seek for the freedom. And the freedom is in this text, my dear friend. The freedom is in your heart, in the Buddha's teaching, in the blade of grass. We're looking for freedom and happiness, right? Behind all the strugglings or the techniques of survival, we are looking for freedom. Makes sense to you? If you have this total picture, you are free. If you know the totality, the independent nature of the phenomenal world, the dependent nature of the phenomenal world, everything depending on other thing or co-horizon nature of the other phenomenal world, then you have that total picture. Then you are free. We are free. The purpose of studying of the Tentai school or Buddha's teaching or this conversation is the freedom itself. Okay, the shortcut to the freedom, since it's about talk the freedom, the shortcut of awakening or the freedom is ask yourself the question, I'm aware of that I'm aware. Can I be self-aware? To answer this question, we have to have the attention back. That's why this question makes sense or works. To answer the question, I'm aware that I'm aware, your attention is not going outward anymore. Your attention is inwards now. You have to going back to answer this question. Yes, I am aware that I am aware. So the awareness has to draw the second half of the circle. Let's repeat again. For most world people, their attention is outgoing. That's the first half of the circle. For awakened people, they can draw the second half of the circle. The attention is inward, going inwardly. Svasamvedana, you see, 自证分. So to be aware of that, to be aware of self-awareness, or to be aware of the awareness itself, can you now? Can you be aware of your awareness? Can you draw the second half of the attention? In this way, we have to put aside every concept we have learned. You see, thinking process is no use here anymore. It's a helper, but to reach the other shore, we need a boat. The boat here refers to the thinking process. Now we are using the mind to talk, to communicate, right? But to be aware of the awareness, you have to stop thinking. You simply have to stop thinking. Every word kind of loses meaning here. Actually, while you are thinking, while you are talking, while you are engaging your everyday life, you can be aware of self-aware. You can be aware of awareness while you're doing things. But we need some practice first, like sit quietly, doing nothing. Try to find a space and time to be aware of the awareness. The more you can do, the faster you can do, the more frequent you can do this, the longer you can remain in this realization, then you have that momentum that you can be aware of the awareness while you're doing things, while you're talking things, while you're working, while you whatever. There's no conflict actually. That's the beauty of the Buddha's teaching. You see, there's no conflict between ultimate and relative at all. There's no conflict between meditation and work. It helps you. The ultimate is, how to say, pervading, or pervades every relative realms. The Buddha nature, or the Buddha, the Dharma Dhatu is in everything. It's crazy. We're so lucky. I just read a little bit more here. Buddhahood pervades the entire universe. It is not a separate realm detached from our own of experience, but an integral and fundamental part of it. So beautiful. The pure consciousness pervades the entire universe. It is not a separate realm detached from our own world of existence. Heaven is not far away from us. Heaven is in the world. Heaven and world is one thing, is not dual, is non-dual. You see, heaven and world, we have this duality of concepts. Buddha's teaching, he say, it's one thing, it's oneness. It's helpful to tell the difference between the heaven and the world, but if you're a wise man, you see them one. You see the two as one. And Kirsten said, freedom, yes. Thank you, Don. Makes sense what you are speaking to. Yeah. Sometimes, we are a bunch of people talking about the ultimate. We're, we're seemingly so small, little body and mind, little Don and Kirsten. But once we can talk about this, share the ultimate teaching of Buddha or Tentai school, we are not small anymore. Because now, even though this seemingly small body and mind as a drop in the ocean, now you know that your entire ocean, every force, like in electromagnetic force, you know, weak or strong, this all the gravity or gravitational pull exerts its power or force over us right now. When you know it, it is yours, and every word, every behavior I'm doing right here now is connected to the whole cosmic force. Do you agree? It is every food I have eaten, helping me to have this conversation with you guys. Also, you are the same. Every food you have eaten yesterday or in the past constitutes your body, and every education you have learned from your background, from your school, constitutes your mind. All the experiences, life experiences constitute your body mind, my body mind, body's mind. But all these food and education or whatever it is are one total organic, dynamic wholeness. It's holy, Holy. It's sacred too, and it's beautiful. Once you have this understanding, wow, how, I don't know how to say, the fountain of life will find its way, will flow into every aspect of our lives. I I feel it this way. No matter I'm drinking a coffee, I'm just put a needle on a patient, I'm just smashing the badminton court. I feel wow, connectiveness. And I say, thank you, bird. I mean, birdie, the badminton. Thank you, rackets. Thank you, cop. Thank you, listeners. I mean, Kirsten, Zen, Miss Zen. Thank you, the papers, the Buddha's image. Thank you, everything. When you are grateful for everything, you're definitely in a blissful state. You're definitely happy. It's a self-generated happiness. It's a self-recognized happiness. You don't need anything anymore because you find the source of everything. Makes sense to you? It makes sense to me so much. Once you reach this fountain of life, life will express to you. You are the expression of life, actually. You see the subject and object relation loses meaning now. Both way works. You are the life, and life will happen to you naturally. And this life has no end. There's no birth and death. Birth and death are our illusion. Buddha's teaching said there's no birth and death there's no body mind to undergo birth and death. Wow, when I heard about that, when I experienced that too, maybe not constantly, but more often and more longer, faster. You see how faster you can be online, how often you can be online, how long you can be online is like kind of numbers to manifest or to show how much you're awakened. Make sense to you? There's some how to say numbers or data and can show the state of awakening. Right now I can only say how fast, how often, how long you can be online or touch the totality. You can actually, you see, we are always in totality. We are always in the freedom. We are always pure. We are always connected. We are originally connected. We are originally pure. We are originally, unconditioned. But the mind, the limited mind, the individual egoic mind cannot understand that. So it's so funny and interesting and profound and evoking, educating. Yeah, evoking. I like this. Just to try to Google it. We are originally free, cousin. All the conditioning try to cover us or obstruct us. Uh, from this freedom or openness or connectiveness. Now, at least we know intellectually we are unconditioned, we are pure, we are undefiled. And later on, you will practice to have more, to apply this principle or understanding into everyday life as sudden enlightenment and gradual enlightenment. They help each other. They help each other. Again, samatha, slow down the monkey mind, the repeating thoughts, compulsive thoughts to a level that we can observe them. Like you have brakes on the thinking. Everyone drives, right? We drive a car. Imagine a car without brake. What will happen? We have brakes on the car, thankfully. Do you have brake in the thoughts on the thoughts or thinking? That's most of world people, they don't. What are talking? Where the brakes of thinking? No way. I always thinking I'm so smart. I'm so smart because I can think. No. Once you have the found the breaks of thinking, samatha, you can study thoughts. You can study who are you, and everything will be changed there because your perception changed. Yesterday or days ago, we talked about perception, right? Once we change perception, the whole world changes. Breaks on thinking, yeah. Personally, I'm sure you have taste, or at least you have stop. You have a you step and at the break and oftenly, occasionally now, right? Good for you, good for me, good for everybody. There's no conflict between the breaks of thinking and the thinking. No, it helps each other. I'm not teaching you how not thinking. No. Try first not thinking, then you can thinking faster. You can doing do faster too. Okay, I think that's all for today. Find the breaks on thinking. Study a mind without thinking. That's my suggestion, maybe homework for you. Svasamvadana. It's a state of non-thinking first, then thinking later. Non-thinking and thinking, there's no conflict actually. There's no conflict between them. But non-thinking helps. Thank you. Yoba, P. Yoba, thank you for coming. See you next time. Bye now.